Welcome to This Explainer. Today we are diving into a deeply moving, just absolutely incredible story about overcoming massive, almost impossible obstacles. We're going to be following the journey of Arjun, a young guy with these really big dreams, and his father, a rickshaw puller, whose exhausting daily labor literally built the foundation for his son's future. Let's unpack this whole story together. The profound sacrifices, the crushing weight of poverty, and ultimately, the triumph of just relentless hard work. But right before we really trace their steps, I want to pose a question directly to you. What is a person's true strength? Is it physical power? Is it intellect? Or does it come from somewhere else entirely? Keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this, because the answer that Arjun arrives at, after years and years of intense struggle, it might just fundamentally change how you view your own support systems.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Poverty and Big Dreams.
So, to really understand Arjun, we have to look at the core conflict of his early life. On one side of the equation, you have the narrow, suffocating lanes of his city, and a level of extreme daily poverty that actively tried to break his spirit every single day. It was a constant battle. But on the other side, you have Arjun himself. He possessed this brilliant, high-level intellect and dreams that were just massive in scale. I want you to imagine that friction for a second. A mind completely capable of soaring, trapped inside an environment that constantly demands you look down at the dirt just to survive. It's a heavy burden.
Moving on to Section 2, the silent sacrifice of parents.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how Arjun's intellect survived that harsh environment. We really have to look at the exact mechanics of his family's survival. When you're dealing with a total absolute lack of money, survival requires someone to absorb the deficit, right? His father deliberately skipped meals. He literally stayed hungry just to ensure he could afford the books that Arjun needed for his education. Meanwhile, his mother meticulously sewed together worn-out old clothes, piecing together whatever she could find just to keep the household running. And through it all, every single day, his father returned to the streets pulling that rickshaw. They starved and exhausted themselves quietly so that Arjun's dreams wouldn't have to.
Which brings us to Section 3, Reign and a Firm Resolve.
Every story of monumental achievement has that one inciting incident, that spark. For Arjun, this turning point didn't happen in a quiet classroom or during a big exam. It happened right out on the streets. Caught in a sudden heavy downpour, Arjun watched his father pulling the rickshaw, completely soaked to the bone and violently shivering from the freezing rain. Seeing the man who went hungry for him, the man who sacrificed absolutely everything, reduced to shivering in the street, it completely broke Arjun's heart. Let's just pause for a second and really absorb the emotional weight of a son witnessing that level of absolute physical suffering.
So the crucial point is this exact heartbreaking moment. That sight in the rain was the absolute catalyst. It birthed a monumental, totally unstoppable resolve within Arjun. That very night, he made a silent vow to himself. Now, I will change my father's life. It was no longer just about getting good grades, or having big dreams for his own future. Nope. His entire existence became hyper-focused on a singular, powerful mission, rescuing his father from those narrow lanes.
This takes us to Section 4, from struggle to success. Let's move forward and see how this builds over time. That silent vow he made, it translated into an intensely grueling period of extreme hard work. This was definitely not an overnight success story. It required giving up sleep, trading rest for relentless studying, night after night after night. This intense struggle went on for years, constantly battling academic rigors while living under the constant, heavy shadow of poverty. But he just kept pushing, completely driven by the memory of his shivering father. Until finally, the calendar turned to that fateful day, the day the news arrived.
And here is the climactic reveal. The news echoed through those narrow lanes and spread like wildfire. The rickshaw puller's son has become a district collector today. It's just an incredible triumph. The entire city was completely shocked. Think about it. A boy from the poorest, most suffocating circumstances had actually risen to one of the most prestigious, powerful administrative positions in the entire region. The sheer magnitude of this achievement is just staggering. It was the ultimate reward for all those years of starvation, sewing old clothes, and pulling that heavy rickshaw.
Finally, Section 5. True strength and a father's love. Now, what's really interesting about this is the reaction to the news. While the whole city was in shock, the happiest person of all was, of course, his father. He was overjoyed because this moment was the ultimate payoff for his entire life's hardship. But Arjun's reaction to reaching this absolute pinnacle is what's truly incredible.
Surrounded by the awe of the city, standing there as a newly minted district collector, Arjun boils his entire grueling journey down to a single sentence. My real strength is my father. The true elixir of this journey wasn't the prestigious title, the money, or the newfound power. It was pure, unadulterated filial gratitude. It was the deep acknowledgement that his towering success was built entirely on the foundation of a rickshaw puller's sweat. Which brings us right back to you. We've seen how the silent, painful sacrifices of a parent fuel the young boy to achieve what seemed literally impossible. So I want to leave you with this final thought to really reflect upon. Who is your driving force? Who is the person making silent sacrifices in the background right now so that you can step forward? Finding your who might just be the absolute key to unlocking your own monumental resolve. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this story stays with you as powerfully as it has with me.